Welcome to Chasing Dragonflies. Join us as we explore the glorious chaos of chasing life, only to discover the God of the universe is chasing us. I'm your host, Jane Foster, triplet mom and fellow sojourner in the land of motherhood. Hi, friends. I am delighted to share my conversation with Bob Goff with you today. Bob is a best-selling author many times over. You know him as a speaker, a podcaster, the founder of Love Does, also a writing and speaking coach. But that's actually not why I have Bob on today. Bob, I invited you because you're a dad and you're a grandfather. And most of the audience listening to this podcast are moms and some dads. We're parents. And you are where we all want to be in that you've got adult kids who are now having their own kids, and they still want to be connected to you. They still want to live life close to you. And I want to talk to people that may have some wisdom, may have some secrets in that, because that's where the rest of us are headed. So thanks for being with us today, Bob.
Oh, it's a delight. I'm just so glad, and for all the people that are kind of leaning in on saying, how do we do a really authentic, genuine job of parenting? And it's like amateur night. Like nobody,
so true.
Nothing prepares you for this. You just so you do the best you can, and but you do it with like this idea of whimsy, but it's a strategic whimsy. It isn't just like confetti and unicorns, but that there's a reason why you're doing it. So you can look at where you are in the arc of life and to say, what are the competing things? What is pushing me and what's pulling me? Ever seen a train going down the tracks? Sometimes the locomotive that's making this thing happen is behind and it's actually pushing the train. And other times it's out in front, it's pulling it. And if you were to just slow down as a parent in the chaos or while you're in the pickup line of the elementary school, could you say, what is it that's pushing me right now? What's pushing me around? What's kind of getting in my grill? What's getting in my head? And what's pulling me? Think of that as like the dreams and desires, this beautiful kind of emerald city on the hill that you're aiming for. And the more we drill down on that, instead of saying, I want to be happy, which is like, give me 2 scoops of that, but to say, what does happy look like? Sure. Or I want to have a really terrific family. Like, awesome. What does that look like? And the more we drill down on that and get specific on it, then we know, like, okay, that's what I'm aiming for.
I love that you talk about being so intentional with this, because I think so many times as parents, it's easy to live in triage mode, that you're just trying to get to the end of the next day.
Yes.
And whether it's potty training or the next illness or infection or a new driver or a new college student, just trying to survive the next phase without looking really at the long view and where are we going in this. So
yes,
I
or
love
some
that.
awful new friend named Billy. And then all of a sudden, every conversation is about Billy. And you're like, I don't want Billy hanging out with my kids. So it's just like you've got all the internal bogeys you're tracking, and then all the external ones. And then you have good, like true educators. And then you have people that are teachers, but they're not educators. And you want to go like, how do we know the difference between the two and honor them both, but send your kids to the educators, not the teachers.
Right.
So I just really love that. It's a strategy. It'll you spend your whole lifetime. Right? Yeah, and we've heard it so many times. My kids are in their mid-30s, and I feel like I'm parenting still, but just in a different way. Right. I have a different role in their life. And it's such a honest thing to ask as your kids are older, like, what role do you want me to play in your life? Isn't that crazy? Just be like, wait a second. You're supposed to know that. To be like, well, yeah, I did when the kids were in elementary school.
Right.
Keep them fed, keep them mostly clothed, maybe enrolled in like baseball practice. But as the kids get older, you could start envisioning now, even with young kids, what role do I want to play later in my kids' lives? And then just start living into that now. Create the adventures, create the memories, create those things that are going to actually have a lot of shelf life.
You mentioned the word whimsy, and I hear you use that a lot when I've heard you speak or even in your writing. How have you purposefully infused that concept into memory making for your family or even a lesson that you're trying to teach?
Yeah, I'd say whimsy. Do you ever have Dippin' Dots when you went to the mall?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like more expensive than drugs. But the idea is this that whimsy ain't cheap,
Right.
but it's really memorable. So I remember I've had Dippin' Dots a couple times when I could afford it, and it's really memorable. It leaves a really great kind of aftertaste. It's probably like gateway to diabetes, but they ain't cheap. And I think sometimes doing some of the things that are going to give you the result that you're looking for
Hmm.
is going to cost you, may not cost you a bunch of money, but it'll cost you a bunch of time,
Right.
a boatload of intention. An example that my dad is 97 and he lives next door to me
Mm.
because 29 years ago, we built a house that is next door. And he's just such a great guy. He's kind of living his best life at
Hmm.
97. And all three of our kids live about 5 minutes from the house.
Mm.
That was actually intentional to say, like, I can't buy you a house or give you a bunch of money, but I could sure make it easier than it would otherwise be for you to end up living in San Diego. If you want to live in Lodi or Stockton, you're on your own,
Hmm.
but I can help out in San Diego. So it's
Absolutely.
almost like putting your finger on the scales a little bit
Right.
and say, like, these are high family values. Have you ever done that family values exercise where you say, there's a deck of cards I remember has 75 values on it. One might be like timeliness, and
Hmm.
another one would be like accumulation. And so accumulation is a zero for me. I'm not trying to do that. That actually, like, as a hoarder, accumulation is not my friend.
Hmm.
But timeliness is a high value. Oh, I had somebody call you because I was going to be 1 minute late to
Okay.
this. It's because timeliness, that's my highest value. Now, my best friend Rick, timeliness is his lowest value.
Oh, no.
Care at all. So we just make sure if we're going to go fly somewhere,
Hmm.
we take separate Ubers because he's going to be the last guy in the plane.
Right.
I'm going to be the first guy in the seat. And so we would not be friends if we didn't understand how to actually navigate that we have two very different values. Doesn't make
Hmm.
him a bad guy. He's a great physician. He's not great at being on time.
Gotcha.
Uh, wouldn't that be a neat exercise with a spouse, an important person in your life, your children, if this is within their range, to say, what are your high and low values and why? Like, why is accumulation not a value and being on time is?
Hmm.
Because I just think it just honors people to be on time. But for Rick, he likes me a lot. He's just going to get there 30 minutes late.
And you know that. You've accepted that.
Yeah. What do they say? We spend a lot of time working in Africa, and they say, we have all the time and you have all the watches. So, what I did is I
Yeah.
bought our 400 teachers in Uganda. I bought them all watches. I'm like, now you have all the
I
watches.
love it. I love
Show
it.
up on time or you're fired.
That's fantastic. I have 13-year-old triplets, so that's the phase I'm in, is the middle school stage. So I'm sure
Oh
that
my God.
they would love to do this exercise and tell me what they value because it may not be the same things that are tracking with me. So I think that would really inform us in how we
Yeah.
communicate with each
So,
other.
like, adventure might be really high on their list. But if we've been around the sun, I'm at level 67, not age 67, level 67.
Gotcha.
And next year, it just sounds cooler that way.
Definitely.
But so adventure might be really high value for them. But actually, the financial pressure that puts on you, if you're listening as a family, you go like, our financial security is actually really high value too.
Hmm.
And so you'd say, how can we do stuff for cheap? Like go to
Sure.
Costco, right? Eat the samples. If you're in San Diego, you can go to SeaWorld, get a shopper's pass
Hmm.
for nothing. Instead of paying $100 for admission, just get a shopper's pass. You get
Hmm.
1 hour in SeaWorld
Hmm.
and you can see the whole thing, but you got to be running.
Sure.
And so just like once you've like got the Costco
Yes.
samples and slam that, and then everybody gets a great adventure, fun memory, keep all your money in the bank. Like, so I just like that if we understand the context that we're in, like by understanding everybody's high values,
Right.
not their preferences, their high values, because the values are and beliefs are going to drive all the things in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So strategic whimsy is thinking about not just dealing with like activities,
Mm-hmm.
but to say what is the underlying values and beliefs that support that.
Absolutely. I had the privilege of getting to meet you and Sweet Maria last year at a writers' retreat at the Oaks,
Yes.
and I
Are those
observed.
good words coming from
I'm
you?
working on them. I'm working on the good
Okay.
words. I observed that she's very different from you.
Oh,
And
heck yeah.
yes, very different people, very different temperaments. And I married my opposite. We're very different. I'm really extroverted and talkative and expressive, and he is more quiet, reserved, thinks through making the right decision, the best decision.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to make an impulsive decision that may or may not be the best decision.
Yeah. Oh, we wouldn't last 5 minutes, me and you,
We'd be
because
in
we'd be
trouble.
just like ready, shoot,
Yes,
aim.
yes.
Like we're just like all gas, no brake. And then somehow God like drops these people into our lives that not be to be a balance to us, but to give us a different context, a different camera angle. And I
Definitely.
know that's important as you're like thinking through with the person that's involved, whether it's a spouse or another person in your life, that the goal isn't to be one and in the meaning of like being the same. The goal is to have your hearts beat together.
Hmm.
Our hearts could beat for our kids similarly, but we would go about it vastly differently.
Absolutely. How have you guys navigated that, being very different, having different temperaments, maybe even different values, pointing the same direction, but maybe higher priorities on things as you parent kids as a team?
Yeah, I just remember when my boys were old enough to get learner's permits, we bought three Harleys and
Oh,
we
my.
started in Mexico and we drove them to Canada. And we had never been on the highway. Our first ride
Whoa.
was from Mexico to Canada. And by the time we got to San Francisco, we could change gears and everything. And it was just this like adventure to say, this will be awesome. And Sweet Maria Goff is thinking, why? Like, what in the world? But the thing underlying that, what I wanted to do is have shared experiences with my boys
Hmm.
so that they had one more thing in common with each other
Hmm.
because kids make the decision to drift apart and be polite to each other
Hmm.
or decide to do life together.
Right.
And we can't control that, but we can definitely influence it.
Hmm.
And so I'm thinking that's strategic. You don't have this idea hope without a plan is a wish.
Hmm.
So we don't want to be just hoping the family does great in the future, but
Right.
say, okay, so here's my plan to do that subject to change. Like the
Hmm.
wheels may fall off of this thing, but here's my plan because I'm not just wishing for it to happen, I'm actually engineering it in that direction.
Absolutely. Speak for a moment about capabilities versus callings. It's something I've heard you talk about and also write about how that connects to not just us as people. I am turning level 50 in September, so
Yes.
I'm behind you, but on my
Yeah.
way. And boy, that resonates with me today. But how does that work with trying to instill those values in your kids and navigate that with them?
Yeah, just realizing this limited period of time and understanding the role that you have in their life. That I want to do things right now at level 67 that are all to do with legacy.
Hmm.
I don't want a building with my name on it. I don't want my face chiseled in a rock in South Dakota. The bases are loaded anyway. But to say what I want to do is create things that are lasting that say about like this is the stock you come from. And
Hmm.
so while I find writing very tedious, maybe you do too.
Hmm.
I have just a high value of like when I'm in a jar or a snow globe. I haven't decided. So when
I vote
I
snow
no
globe.
longer here, yeah, I'm going with snow globe.
Uh-huh.
I want to have something to lean up against it, and so I write books. This is the book I'm working on right now is number 12, and I don't claim or think that I have an angle that's better or unique, and nobody's ever thought this before, but I've certainly never written it before.
Right.
And so I just put a high value on that legacy piece. So everything that I'm doing right now, I'm not saying, will it work? I'm saying, will it last? So that's a great thing. And so when you talk about capabilities versus calling, and calling is so ethereal, like I hear people in faith communities saying, like, God called me to, it's usually somebody fundraising to go to Tahiti, and they because Jesus said they should surf and be fishers of men or something. So the put aside calling, because I know what a telephone call is. I get a lot of them, and you do too. But that sense of something that just won't leave you alone. It's just this thing that just keeps nudging you. It's like a dog that wants to play fetch, and it just would, no matter how many times you throw the ball in an opposite direction, it just keeps coming back to you. That is what calling is. I think I'm going to write that down. That's what writers do when they stumble on something in a conversation. I'm just saying, calling equals fetch. And what I'll do is I'll look at this tonight, tomorrow, or something, and I'll be like, what? No, calling equals fetch. And I'll go like, oh, I remember we were having a conversation and we were talking about what the definition of calling is, the thing that keeps coming back to you. You keep throwing the ball away, thinking this is not the time, and the ball just keeps coming back. So capabilities are all the stuff you have. Like, I'm a trial lawyer. Can you believe that?
That's funny to think about, talking to you now in a baseball cap.
Yes, I'm like Bob the trial lawyer. Like, what the heck? I'm also a diplomat for the Republic of Uganda, and I don't fit that either in any sense. I'm a pilot, but I don't walk around with wings on my shirt or like aviation. Some doctors I see, they have the stethoscope around their neck just on a Tuesday, like, what, just in case you need it? I think it's what we're doing is we're signaling people. These are interests. A bunch of surfers here in San Diego, they also say dude a lot. They're signaling, I'm a surfer. I don't have a lot of cerebral activity. I like to say dude a lot. So what we're doing is, what I want to do is move away from all the pink slips and diplomas and capabilities, and to say, what is it that just can't leave me alone? There's that thing. And I'm thinking that is calling. If faith guides your steps, then you might say from Matthew 25, hungry people, thirsty people, sick people, strange people, naked people, people in jail. From James, widows and orphans. If faith isn't part of your program, then to say, man, I just love bears. And be like, awesome. Like, is if it's lasting, do it. Or if it isn't lasting, do whatever you want to do with bears. I would feed them well, but not you. But I'd say, like, instead of telling other people what they're calling us, be just crystal clear on, this is what I'm doing. I'm writing books between now and when I get hit by the ice cream truck. I'm going to crank out as many words as I can. And my last thought when I get hit by the ice cream truck will be pistachio. I knew it would eventually take me out.
Coming for you.
Yeah. So, like, approaching life, we all do it. Some are a little bit more, not somber, but reserved. That would be Sweet Maria. What's your husband like? Is he a little bit more reserved?
More reserved, more thoughtful. Wants to do the right thing and make good decisions. And so processes that. A little slower
so
processing.
if he got in the room with me, he would think I'm on crack. He would be like, what in the world?
Except that he lives with me. So,
Yes. You go like, you're just like my wife.
Yes.
So I really like that idea of, we're not trying to be the same. And we're not, if faith guides your step, trying to be a better version of you, but a more accurate reflection of Jesus. To say, like, how do I do that? Because I'm not trying to be, self-improvement is not a value of mine. I'm not trying to be a better version of me. I want a little bit less Bob, and I see a little bit more Jesus. That's what we're aiming for. But a bigger, better, shinier version of Bob is not the objective right now, nor is beating myself up. I'm not trying to hit myself, because we're not pinatas and We don't want to be just hitting ourselves because that does not produce candy. It produces other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So envy and jealousy and all
Sure.
that. And so what I'm trying to do is to say, okay, what's my next lily pad? Are you good about that? Are you good at organizing like what you're going to do next to get to where you want to go? I mean, this podcast is one of them. You decided
Sure.
I've got some love to share. I want to have people jump in on the conversations.
Sure. I am because I'm a bit of a what's next person. I've got a son that's his favorite question, what's next? And so I'm constantly saying, let's be where we are now and then move to the what's next. But I have to admit, he gets that from me because I'm thinking that too.
Yeah,
Um,
you just feel like you make coffee
sure,
nervous. You feel
sure.
like go, 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 go. I just happen to have a chessboard next to me here that the laptop's sitting on, and these pieces only go diagonal, but these ones only go in right angles. They
Mhm,
don't go diagonal at all.
mhm,
And these guys go the whatever they call this horse piece. It goes two up and one over,
mhm,
and to just realize like what do you do?
mhm,
Like, what is your wiring from the factory?
mhm,
Now, what do you do to make a living? What do you do to like do you cope with anxiety and all that? But like, what did you come from the factory
mhm,
before your life got really confusing? Before we tried to get acceptance from people, even strangers, before applause became important, or affirmation. Like, how did you come from the factory? And if we could strip it down to that, just get
mhm,
right down to the chassis, then we'd understand,
mhm,
okay, this is how I came from the factory.
mhm,
And then now we've got a ball game because you
mhm.
know the way you came, and I'm subject to change, but like this is the way it came. Incredibly insecure. Do you get like that vibe from me immediately, like super insecure?
No, not at all. I'm
Yeah,
surprised to hear that.
most people that come across as like real chatterboxes,
Mhm,
that's just 100% insecurity
mhm,
talking.
mhm,
So what they do is they fill all the room with talking about stuff
mhm,
because they're punishingly insecure.
mhm,
And if they just shut up, they'd have to deal with their own insecurities.
mhm.
So understanding first how complicated we are as people,
Sure.
but then to realize and give a little grace to people that they're just insecure in a different way.
Right.
Like so some people get quiet and some people get pensive and some people get mean. A couple come to mind right now.
Right.
So what do you do? How do you deal with your insecurity?
Mhm.
What a great question to be asking of your children. I
Right.
wonder what's going on under the hood.
Sure.
And sometimes it just means pausing to listen. What's your strategy? How do you like with it's not even Dolby surround sound. It's like three sided. It's like you're absolutely surrounded with different needs and different
Yes.
perspectives. Then you married somebody who isn't like you and friends that aren't like you too. Like, so how do you navigate all that?
You know, they are all very different. They're distinctly different. They just happen to be the same age and share a birthday, but they're not the same people at all. And so I think expecting them to respond the same or to communicate the same or to process information the same would make it easy if they were all robots designed the same, but they're not. And so it's remembering who I'm in the room with and being curious about who that is, trying to discover that person, and then figure out what's effective with them. One of my boys, if you put him in timeout when he was really little, I mean, that was the ultimate punishment because he's so
Oh,
extroverted. So you just took him away
yes.
from all the people. My other son, who loves time alone, to be still and quiet and nobody interrupt him playing with his trains. If you put him in timeout, he thought it was the best day ever and couldn't figure out why you got him out.
Yeah.
So just figuring out, again, who you've got in your house
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
being able to relate to that.
being kind to yourself. I've heard people talking about we were big, we called it the bench of knowledge. We say, go to the bench of knowledge, which is just like timeout. Just say
Yes,
like, go
yes.
collect your thoughts, pal, get with the program, and then come join us again.
Mm-hmm.
But then people will like say, always do this, never do this.
Mm-hmm.
It must be really hard being a parent because
Mm-hmm.
everybody has a couple opinions. They're like ears.
Yes.
Everybody's got a couple, except Van Gogh. I'd say, like, what do we do to filter that? How do you navigate through all the different opinions? Because I'm sure there's listeners that have been exposed to all kinds of never do this, always do this.
Mm-hmm. Becky Brooks, I recorded with her last week, and her episode just dropped today, but she and I were talking about this, that you have to have an anchor as a parent, because otherwise there's so many opinions. Social media will tell you there's the 4 best ways to do just about anything or else. And your anchor has to be in who God says you are and what He's called you to do and be. Otherwise, you're exhausted trying to follow everybody else's advice and really doing it miserably because it's not coming from a place, a really grounded sense. I was, 30 years ago, applying to physical therapy school. At the time, super competitive program, 4 times as many applicants as what they would take, got in easily and thought, oh, okay, this is the rubber stamp on my life. This is must be what my calling is, where I'll spend all my time. But it just felt kind of empty. So I got curious and just started asking God, is this what you've got for me? Or is there more that you're wanting me to dig into? And He said, I want you to be a great mom.
Yeah.
Which just blew me away, because I thought, really? That has nothing to do with a grade point average. Really? You're not impressed with my test scores? That doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Turns out I needed a day job to pay my bills, not independently wealthy. So it really didn't have anything to do with what would lead and just light the way in my life. And so I'm just trying to share encouragement with others that are on that same road. So thank you for being a part of that, Bob.
Yeah, sometimes it's just getting I'm thinking they had a big marathon or something, and they all ran past the house. And it's like having a little table set up with all the Gatorade cups.
Mm-hmm.
And so people can either just take them if they want, or run past it, or they can even take the water in the cup and throw it on their head and throw the cup on my lawn. But like that whole idea is what we want to do is just make life and encouragement, all that available to people. And then people can do whatever they want. And in some ways, with your kids, it's not apathy, it's strategy to say, I'm not trying to control it. What I want to do is influence it. And with kid number 1, they always work 2 up and 1 over. And kid number 2, they're always on the diagonal.
Yes.
And kid number 3, I don't know what's happening with them. So just to be encouraged that you're in this honest, the challenge is real. And yet they're going to develop in these wonderful, unlikely ways. And if you and I just keep showing up, and even through the hard parts, I was at a swim practice, which is my new claim to fame. I'm the guy that's at swim practice holding the grandkids' towels. And the person that owns the swim facility evidently came running in. I was startled. And they said, Code Rainbow. And I was like, what? And moms are snatching their kids out of the pool because some kid lost it in the pool.
Oh,
not a rainbow. But I didn't know what I don't get is code. It sounds good to me, like Lucky Charms guy. But if you start understanding what things mean in your kids' lives, understanding when Code Rainbow happens, something really goes bad. They're in an adolescence and a relationship goes bad, or they're not connecting with each other or the family, but understanding what you do next. And I just love that you're out there helping prepare people to what to do next. And sometimes the thing to do next is just realize I'm in the soup right now. This is a really hard Code Rainbow just happened in my life. I'm not alone.
Yes. Yeah. We're all in the weeds together. That's an old waitressing term. I'm slammed. I can't do another thing. We're all in the weeds together. So.
You're going to have to say that when things go wrong, be like Code Rainbow.
Yes. Yes. We interestingly had that happen with swim lessons. So I'm very familiar with Code Rainbow. So all over that, Bob. That's good. Bob, what do you want to be known for? And I am quite certain it's not about number of books sold or how many thousands of people that you've spoken to. You've talked a little bit about legacy. What do you want to be known for in your
Oh, yeah,
life?
I'm just the available guy.
Yeah.
I'm never the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the smartest guy in this conversation. But
No.
I'm available. I'm pretty happy. I'm upbeat. I'm insecure, but that's the basis of all this. Um, but to realize that I could be available, I teach a class up at San Quentin, and one of the guys that was in for life just got recently paroled out. And he's been in the class for, gosh, 10 years, I bet. And he stopped cutting his hair when he went into San Quentin. It was 27 years, 9 months, and 7 days
Wow.
before he got out. And he only has one friend, and it's me. So he paroled to San Diego. Oh, I am wearing him like a dryer sheet. Like every time. My first call usually happens 5:45, 6 in the morning.
Hope you're a morning person.
Yeah, that'll be the first of 6 calls today. And so some people would send them a voicemail or whatever, and that doesn't make me the hero or the victim of the story, but I definitely want to be a participant.
Right.
And you need to be present to win. So for your family, must be present to win. I don't need to be the guy that has all the answers, but I want to be the guy, whether it's Code Rainbow or my friend, he stopped cutting his hair 27 years, 9 months, and 7 days ago. He's like reggae Rapunzel.
I was going to say, he hasn't found some scissors yet. Okay.
His dreads go, and he's going to start looking for a job. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you and your 40 pounds of hair.
Yes.
Which is fine. I'm like, no judgment, but I'll do whatever it is that is helpful to him, because the high value for me is availability. And so for Sweet Maria Goff, her high value is availability, but it's only to me, the people we made, the people they married, and the people they made.
Right.
That's it. So we made 3, they married 3, they made 4. So I've got a church of 12.
Love it.
Like,
Love it.
one of you will betray me.
Yes.
So the whole idea of saying, like, within the context of know who you're going to be available to and why. And I want to be available to my San Quentin friend and to Earth. And so I'll leave more access points than Sweet Maria will, but we're each like living into that sense of calling. It's the ball that just keeps coming back to us. And for her, it's all about family. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end.
That's beautiful. God made me to celebrate, and so I want to be known for doing that well, even for the little things. And
You're
so,
good at that. I can tell.
Oh,
When you pop in, there should be some like streamers or something.
Yeah.
Do you do stuff? Do you ever like carry some confetti around in your pocket or something, which is just like, I don't know, it's what you do. Or a $2 bill?
No, but I love the idea of it. My thing is my tambourine and dancing around to ridiculous music. You know,
That's awesome.
Our theme is Rock the Casbah. So when somebody, the old song from the 80s, because it's nonsense, when somebody does something special, we rock the Casbah. And
How
that's
does that work out at funerals?
not great, not great.
Don't invite that family.
Yes, they make
Or
way
maybe,
too much noise.
Definitely invite that family, because
Yes.
we got to lighten things up here a little bit.
Yes.
But I just think of that strategy, because you bring joy where you go. Thinking as a legacy person, I'm thinking always have a $2 bill in your pocket, and it'll cost you about $2. But what will happen is it's going to be this reminder to people that you're like this unlikely thing. I was thinking about you. Here's a couple bucks. And they almost look like they're counterfeit, but they're like for real, but they're like not typical. And I think there's something that we could be doing as parents, as spouses, as friends, where we jump the tracks, not to draw attention to ourselves, but to live into what you came from the factory. God, this is Paul to Timothy, to fan the flames of the unique gift that God has given you. And I think we can fan it with sincerity and joy and authenticity and all those things. But a $2 bill wouldn't hurt either.
No, absolutely not. Bob, thank you so much for your time today and your wit
this is
and
such a
wisdom.
treat.
That's good.
What a fun thing. I love what you're doing. And I know for those of you that are listening, you got to decide what you're going to do with what you hear. So if you take away agreeing with what's been said, the only thing that's left is to do something about it. So listen again if you didn't take notes, and to say, okay, so what's one thing I'm going to do about that? Because you have a mom of triplets. If that doesn't give you street cred, nothing
Yeah.
will. So this is one takeaway that I'm actually going to go and do, and that's where all the great stuff happens. The only thing that matters is faith expressed in love, and if faith guides your steps, man, make a move.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bob. Where can people find you and find what's the latest with you and all of your
Oh
adventures?
yeah, I'm like kind of everywhere. If you want one of my books, you can probably get one at a used bookstore for a nickel. And if you just like do a Google search, you'll find all the wants and warrants. Yes. Bob Goff, happy guy, level 67.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, friends, for listening today, and go out and rock the Casbah.